Hi, my name's Erica. This is my first video blog, whatever you may have it. Um, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I have an 18-month-old son, and I am currently 13 weeks pregnant with my Down syndrome son. So we did the non-invasive prenatal testing, and I did it to figure out gender, really. I am 34 years old. I'm not considered high risk. I really wasn't thinking about my son or child having a chromosome disorder. I guess I had a 1 in 283 risk, and then my panorama results showed that I had a 9 out of 10 risk, and it's pretty accurate. Although I will be getting an amniocentesis to confirm it in 3 weeks, so when I'm 16 weeks pregnant. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about how I felt and how I'm still feeling. I heard the news, and I got a phone call from my nurse practitioner, and her voice was kind of monotone. She wasn't her regular upbeat person, and she's like, well, everything looks good on your NIPT except you have a high risk for Trisomy 21, and that's Down syndrome. And I tried to hold it together as much as I could over the phone. I was shaky and crying, and we were gonna wait to find out gender and find it out in like an envelope and do a whole gender reveal with a golf club, because my husband's an avid golfer. But we didn't. So I just wanted to find out what we were having, and we're having a boy. So I called my husband, Bob, and I was hysterically crying, like hyperventilating, kind of throwing up. I was totally a wreck. And my husband initially thought that we miscarried. So by the time I got out, no, he has Down syndrome, it's a boy. My husband he told me he was actually a little relieved because he thought we had miscarried. And we had miscarried on Thanksgiving, so a few months prior. I miscarried at 10 weeks, and at that point I thought I could, for my first pregnancy with my son who's 18 months old, I thought about miscarriage all the time. You just hear about that, but then with Peanut, I didn't think about miscarriage at all, because I had, a successful, healthy pregnancy and child. So I didn't think it could happen to me, right? And it did. And then here we are with the news about our son, and he's gonna have Down syndrome or has a high risk of Down syndrome. We didn't think that could happen to us. I mean, but I guess, do you ever think it could happen to you? I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of pessimistic, I guess, maybe. So, I mean, I'm a realist. Yeah, things happen to people, but I really didn't think it was gonna happen. Anyway, so I was at work when I found out the news, hysterically crying. I don't know. I just felt alone, and I don't know. Really, really, really scared and just shocked. Just shocked. Like, what? Like, like this is a nightmare. I mean, I thought it was a nightmare. I went to pick up my son at my mom's and told my mom. I don't know. I thought she was gonna have some sort of kind words to say, or some sort of support. It's gonna be okay, honey. Whatever. No, she, sorry, Nana, but she, for her first thought was abortion. You need to have an abortion, Erica. You can't raise a Down syndrome child. It's going to be so hard on him. It's going to be so hard on you. Think about your 18-month-old son, Cole. Think about your marriage. So, I ended up telling her, I'm like, I didn't even think about that. I'm totally pro-choice. I think that I'm pro-choice. I never had an abortion, and it would never be my choice. But my husband and I really, we didn't talk about it up to that point. He just said, it's going to be okay, and, we'll talk when we get home. I ended up telling my mom just to, I didn't come looking for, advice. I want support, and don't tell me, to terminate my son. And I went home, and I was just, I don't know, I was just in shock. You have all these fleeting thoughts, bad thoughts about this baby that you love so much that's in your stomach. Why me? You kind of have selfish. So my life is going to be harder. I'm going to have to be a caregiver for the rest of my life. He can have congenital, I'm a nurse, but in nursing school you learn, 10 minutes on Down syndrome. You don't really, registered nurse. I have my bachelor's degree, but it wasn't really in depth. I didn't do really any clinicals with intellectually disabled children or adults. We did mental health, rounds, but I didn't have any firsthand experience with Down syndrome. And so I went to Google and I just looked up all the health problems and how medically fragile they could possibly be. The statistics, 50 to 60% of them have, congenital heart defects, all the other things, low muscle tone, poor weight gain, hearing, vision problems, spinal abnormalities, all sorts of, the list goes on, where it's just like, it's just, and I just felt so alone, I guess, and you have thoughts about, maybe, why didn't my body miscarry him? And it's so messed up in your head, thinking this, but I thought it, and I feel bad as a mom. So that was a Friday. The next day, you wake up in the morning thinking, must have been a nightmare, I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, I would get a bad haircut or whatever, and wake up in the morning, oh please, let it not be, whatever. So I woke up, and of course it wasn't a dream, it wasn't a nightmare. Very depressed. It was really hard to take care of my son on Saturday. I was just kind of not there, totally in my head. Sunday, I was really upset in the morning. My son saw me crying, and I just had to take him over to my mother-in-law's, and I just needed some time to myself, because his dad wasn't home. And something, I don't know, at some point just kind of it just got a little bit better. Right around 11 or 12 o'clock, that I cried and cried and cried, and I don't know, you just kind of reach the point where he's your son, and I'm gonna love him regardless. And for me, I can't terminate based, because someone's IQ isn't high enough, or because they're intellectually disabled. I couldn't do that. I know, so I just couldn't, and I couldn't do that to my own son. What is life? What is the meaning of life? I don't know, to work hard, go on vacation, buy things, whatever. No, my meaning of life is family. That's what's important to me. My son, I'm gonna give him a chance, and I don't think anyone who's I want to do it the hard way. I have the two paths I can choose. I'm going to do it the difficult way, the unknown. I don't know. I know it could be really bad. I hear it's going to be difficult. I choose this. We'll be realistic. You don't want a harder life. You don't want a harder life for you. You don't want it for your children at all. You don't want a hard life. But at the same time, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. I don't think I'd be able to live with myself if I killed my son. I don't know. So here I am a week later. Good days, bad days. In the car, which is probably pretty dangerous. In the morning on my way to work, I cry. I don't know why I cry. I mean, I cry because I'm thinking about his future. Is he going to get made fun of? Is it going to be harder on my son, Cole, on his brother? I don't know. Is he going to wish he was different? Like, I don't know. And then you have the selfish parts too. Are my husband and I going to be able to go to a concert or dinner or, I don't know. You don't know. We're lucky because both of our parents live, his parents live 5 minutes away. My mom and stepfather live, 20 minutes away. And we're lucky that we have a lot of support. Yeah, and my mom, the very next day, we go back to that Saturday or Sunday, she came over, brought, me flowers and chocolate and, said that she's been grieving and, she's going to support and love my son and, her grandson just like she loves Cole. And we did some research on Down syndrome and the positive effects and what a fulfilling life they can have. I mean, you have preconceived notions of how things are going to be that where they can't be independent or they can't work or whatever or drive. That's not true. So with early intervention, which is a free service, right? So you contact your county. Once the baby's born out of the hospital, you have a social security number, which they'll help you fill out in the hospital. I remember from my first, and he'll get his social security number or she in a couple weeks. And then right then they'll set up you call them. They'll set up an evaluation. They'll come to your house and they'll set up services. So like physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, whatever your child may need. So early intervention is key in promoting their development, really. Down syndrome children will meet all the developmental milestones, sometimes at the same pace, most of the time a little slower, but they're gonna meet them. It's going to take a little, education on your part. And I don't know, in a way, I have 27 weeks or so to prepare, which is kind of, I don't know. I mean, I already contacted earlier intervention. I've already looked into Medicaid. There's trust funds, called ABLE. I live in Pennsylvania. I think they have them across the country. So it's a fund that it's kind of like a 529 plan where you can start. You could put whatever $100 in, and it's a special fund that will not make your children. I should do this on another blog, but they'll still be eligible for Medicaid and Social Security when they are older, which is really important. Anyway, I guess. I'm not sure what I'm doing here with this recording. This is my first time ever doing this. I guess the whole point of this was to say you're not alone. I have good days and bad days. I saw my OB, who my husband and I really trusted, and said kind of some really cruel things. Termination several times, even after we brought up and how difficult it is and how we need a strong foundation of marriage. It's going to be really hard on us. It's going to be hard on him. You don't know how severe the intellectual disabilities. They're going to come with multiple physical disabilities, the financial constraints, just all these things. Everything was negative. We left the appointment and we felt really deflated, right? And we feel deflated, and then it's time for our genetic counseling appointment. Joke. Okay, so, she had absolutely we told her we were keeping our child, we were keeping our son, and, she didn't even have a resource for us. There was nothing. She explained the trisomy, 21, and how there was an extra called trisomy because there's a third, 21st chromosome, and, the statistics, mentioned termination several times. You know, you can terminate here in Pennsylvania, you know, up to 24 weeks. We're trying to change it. But no, thank you. Do you have any, you know, support groups or any educational resources you could give us? Well, you know what? I think you can go on Facebook, and they have support groups on Facebook. No, I don't have Facebook. Sorry. I feel bad for people that are in the situation that can't navigate as well, and I feel like there's a huge gap with our providers. I'll give you a few statistics here. 67% of Down syndrome children in the United States are terminated, right? When they find out they're terminated. 90% in England, like 98% plus in Denmark and Iceland. I don't know. I feel like it has to do with the healthcare providers, because this is a baby that you wanted, most likely, right? You wanted your baby. I don't know. I feel like there needs to be, I don't know, more sensitivity and objectivity, I suppose. I don't know. I was just extremely disappointed, and disappointed because I am a healthcare provider also. I'm just disappointed in the bedside manner and the way their lack of insensitivity. What are these parents going through, you know? And I don't know, to keep mentioning all the negative aspects and termination. I don't know. Really, excuse me, messed up. But I'll talk to you. I'm gonna come back, and I'll have more blogs or whatever. So today it's been a little over a week and a half since we found out. Yeah, and I cried this morning on my way to work, and I'm sure I'll cry at some point today. It's just, I think you have to go through a grieving process. But I can tell you right now, it's getting easier for me. It's getting easier. I'm thinking now about my son's nursery. You know, I think I might do typical, you know, jungle animal theme nursery, and I'm thinking about all that kind of stuff again, instead of thinking about, you know, early intervention, or, you know, I don't know. Is he going to be living with us forever? Do we need in-law suites? Or what about work? What am I going to do with work? You know, like, I just think about all these different things, and I want to try to focus on some of the good and positive myself, right? Because we're carrying a baby, you know, that needs us. All babies need us. And congratulations on your pregnancy. And thanks for listening. Bye.